For today's cup of coffee, we have an article that's from the Daily Mail by Matthew Phelan, and that was August the 4th of 2023. And of course, that was a Friday. And if they're wanting to, something to be down the memory hole before the regular week, they will publish these things on Friday. So just notice that this is one of those, or has the potential to be one. Former high-ranking intelligence official David Grusch has made waves all summer, charging in public and classified settings that the U.S. government has hidden crashed non-human spacecraft from both the public and illegally from Congress. Grusch added to his sworn testimony and classified whistleblower complaint in a new interview with BBC Radio, describing his claims of a classified UFO reverse engineering program and UFO-related deaths as an act of truth to power. He warned that America's alleged top-secret UFO portfolio opens a, quote, Pandora's box for potential military weapons development type reverse engineering activities, end quote. And for the first time, Grusch's attorney in his active whistleblower complaint, Charles McCullough, also came forward to speak publicly on his client's allegations. McCullough, the former Inspector General of the U.S. Intelligence Community, ICIG, appointed by President Obama in 2011, told BBC Radio that Congress needs more information on UFOs to, quote, properly oversee things going on in the executive branch, end quote. The fact that this actually, for me, made me question Grusch and this whole thing more than I had before. Could this be Project Bluebeam coming on strong? Yeah, it really could. And while Grusch has asserted that he has first-hand access to some evidence to support his claims, neither Grusch nor McCullough has said that the UFO whistleblower has seen crashed craft or removed non-human intelligences with his own eyes. McCullough told BBC Radio 4's The World Tonight, Thursday, August the 3rd of 2023, quote, our government relies on congressional oversight, the checks and balances of congressional oversight. David's allegation at its base is essentially that Congress does not have access to the information it needs to properly oversee things going on in the executive branch, end quote. McCullough, who served as Obama's top legal watchdog over America's spy agencies after a decade with the FBI, also confirmed that his client Grusch did, in fact, brief both House and Senate Intelligence Committees behind closed doors. McCullough told BBC Radio, quote, he's briefed both of the Intel committees, and he's had a 2-hour hearing with 2 hours of testimony last week, end quote. And the intelligence committees appear to have taken Grusch's testimony quite seriously. In July of 2023, Senate Intel member Chuck Schumer, the Democratic Senate Majority Leader, in partnership with Republican Senators Marco Rubio of Florida and Mike Rounds of South Dakota, led efforts to appoint a 9-member review panel to assess all classified government records on UFOs. That amendment, which contained language echoing Grusch's claims, has since passed a Senate vote. Critics, however, have been quick to point to a statement made by McCullough's law firm in June, which appeared to dramatically distance the firm from aspects of the news media's reporting on Grusch and their clients' own extraordinary claims. While critics speculated that McCullough might have regretted his involvement with Grusch, the former civil servant nevertheless has stood by his client, quite literally while attending the House Oversight Committee's UFO hearing last week. Former Defense Department official Merrick von Rennenkampf, another past Obama appointee, wrote in The Hill this week, quote, it is unlikely that Grusch, speaking to Congress under oath, would perjure himself so brazenly over such specific falsifiable facts, particularly with his high-profile attorney sitting directly behind him. Well, why not? You've had all these other people that sat there and testified and just were brazen in their lies. I'm not saying that Grusch has done that, but others have very recently. If Grusch knowingly provided false material to the ICIG in his formal complaint, the UFO whistleblower could face a fine of up to $10,000 for the criminal offense under Title 18, Section 1001 of the U.S. Criminal Code, or worse, up to 5 years in prison or both. Such penalties raise intriguing unresolved questions about both Grusch and the first-hand witnesses from whom he says he has referred to the current U.S. Intelligence Community Inspector General. Von Rennenkampf wrote, quote, "Given the significant penalties for making false statements to an inspector general, it is extremely unlikely that multiple high-level, highly cleared officials would falsely claim to have first-hand knowledge of myths and rumors," end quote. Grusch waxed philosophical when asked by BBC Radio 4 why he chose to come forward with his extraordinary accusations of federal government malfeasance on the UFO issue. Grusch told the BBC, quote, "I believe the U.S. government should be held accountable for potentially overclassifying or misclassifying basic science. I found that to be very important for the public at large to understand, their place in the cosmos, their place in the universe. It boils down to a sense of duty, an act of truth to power," end quote. While Grusch is still forbidden from disclosing certain information per the terms of his Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review Agreement with the Pentagon, he did manage to clarify and reemphasize key facts in his new interview. Grusch stated, quote, "There are certain things that I have first-hand access to that I can't publicly discuss at this time. However, myself and other colleagues interviewed 40 individuals, both current and former highly distinguished intelligence and military personnel that were specifically on these UFO crash retrieval programs, and those that were willing I directed to the Intelligence Community Inspector General." So the Inspector General was able to interview these people that do have direct first-hand information, end quote. Grusch noted that the classified UFO program has existed in some form or another for over 89 years, and that it leveraged secrecy protocols first put in place for the Manhattan Project, the top-secret U.S. military effort to build the first atomic bomb during World War II. Grusch said, quote, "They weren't sure how ontologically shocking it was going to be to the world populace, so they decided to keep it under wraps for many years," end quote. This makes me question. After watching the hearing, I had, as far as with Grusch and what he said, he's odd. I admit that he's odd, but that doesn't mean that he's lying. Now, as far as Fravor and the other gentleman, Graves, I believe was his name, I have no doubt that they told flat out what they knew. But anytime that somebody has been in the intelligence community, you've got to wonder what is the ulterior motive. And especially when his attorney was one of the watchdogs of the intelligence community for Obama. Yeah, that's getting broad and deep, and it's like you have to get your hip waders on for that one. So at this point, nobody knows what the hell is going on anything. Maybe there's just, it's sort of scattergun effect. They're just throwing things out there to see what's going to hit. There's a lot of things hitting, how much is sticking, and of that's sticking, how much is on target, and how much is it just bullshit. We don't know. But there's other things coming down the pike, and between now and November of 2024, I expect things to get just beyond belief on multiple levels. And that's not just from what Grusch has revealed. It's all this political stuff that's going on. It's the planetary alignments. It's insane. So stay grounded. Truth does exist. So hang on to that, because you've got a lot of people that's trying to call everything as far as reality into question. And there's a lot of people that they didn't have a good grasp on reality to begin with. So they're derailing left and right. So watch out for those people. If you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And the email address is there in the description box, as will the link to the article be. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I found a new toy that I can put out as far as using the community thing. So, yeah, I can learning new skills all the time, folks, all the time. Know that you're very loved. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.